Hello, the species value nature system. Why do we have a heart? This is why we have a heart. Why do we have a heart? The reason we have a heart, like all things boxing, the identity of existence is in demonstration to us always. Everything, boxing, must spring from rest. I tell it best. What was it? The reason all living things have a heart is because of the identity of space. With a perfect value progression of space, of existence, with a perfect value progression of existence won't slow down. It's only going to gain the volume of and the nature of, not just a positive forever nature as our identity, forever nature, and or of negative. Excuse me. That's the difference between how the identity of existence is simultaneously distinctly and non-distinctly onto itself, and then those two parts of itself simultaneously, distinctly and non-distinctly, the complete body of value wrapped before, smaller than any finite, and then adds the order to that finite, and the body of value discernment with that, and progressions value of discernment. When we put our minds and pray to get it right, using the ground as positive, because the ground is finite. When we do that, this causes positive value nature progressions, evolutions. The ancients knew how to do this before sciences were criminally re-engineered. English was revealed by natures of sciences working together as an identity the sciences share, because the identity of existence is only identity. It shares itself distinctly, non-distinctly with itself as the identity of space. This is why we have a heart and demonstration that space lower than it can go low, higher than it can be high, further right than it can be further right than it is right, and further left than it is left. Inside the identity of existence, we temporary space nature exists, and more temporary space, more forever nature is being made through and as our value, but in relationship to the also non-distinct relationship that the nature of positive has unto itself, beyond our control, as the perfect value progression. So it's Lethe of Hades and every today. This just reminds, because we left criminally re-engineered ancient sciences, criminally re-engineered since semi-ancient times tactically to keep modern nations defending fact-keeping nature, investing justifying itself as hurt, tricked, bonded, tactically bonded, juxtaposed natures of extortion, differential, and torture system. Worse than witch trials, which weren't about drugs. That was a breaching crime to keep free speech, not let to keep a nature like sensibilities. I can't wait to read it. Since Jane Austen. But I know that everyone failed, so it's nothing against men. All women and men fail because they're entertaining things like politics as trained, as left, criminally foreign influenced sciences, and cause negative value nature progressions, because the campus Marxist's original value nature relationship to itself was before criminal foreign influences of the sciences. The original ancients understood that nation sciences, state sciences, and area sciences are the range of positive we have control of. when we try to take control over internation sciences, they realize that causes negative value nature progression. They knew about criminal enterprises because they knew about the republic for which we stand in English and with its amended no but habeas certiorari, habeas corpus. Those kind of, I'm not a lawyer, I'm not, but like statutes. So if you're in jail and you're not supposed to be there, it's supposed to be a right to be able to get out. See, but this is also why the ancients would have revealed also need the statutes. I don't know what you would call it, like the Auser by Law statute. You you need to be able to say, you need to be able to demonstrate when courts and prisons are in collusion, which they are. Recorded, facilitated to it originally. I'm not a police form, not a criminal, not a lawyer. I mean, facilitated not for drugs and things like the other. They have overt criminal enterprises specifically to keep the locked identity as England as an identity that was extorting it there too, because it was forced to be just a face and not to tell on the other nations that were forced to share policing with it, which correlation reveals too. They stole our founders' voice of understanding to what they wanted to demonstrate was forced for them to say. They were fact human nature slaves. Everybody. We still are. They recorded fake news stealing my voice, WFSB, with people that were involved with database crimes, placements in my classroom. Man and woman now involved with crimes with a principal sex offender before he was caught, forcing him to sustain. The fake news steal your voice. They won't let you speak in court too, because they were recorded too with crime acts and methods in cases to hide their online rape threats and other natures of crimes in cases and with databases on and off campuses, identity thefts, clicks, drug clicks, also with doctors, with the child offenders further with the campuses. That's what they use the fake news for first. Their real motivations with it, with the men and women with the sex crime acts recorded further, tied to the courts, too, private and other, is interbranch, forging names, switching names, collusion through time for years, intercity, the same ones with my area. That Weathersfield Police, interbranch actors, and CCSU recorded and confessed. And they also recorded and confessed a Scalora family, crimes with federal criminals, in other words, identity thefts, crimes with evidence reception bodies, and with the sex offenders clicks. And also further untimely deaths and stuff, confessions, and roles with clicks, with forensics and stuff like that, corruption with those clicks from the transition from Aka to Rico, and with a Billy Grasso body dumping spot that are strangers, Afienzas and people tied to them, recorded and confessed tied to a house across the street from Michelle Sevilla, also on Facebook, who was having fake conversations with me with a military guy down the street associated with foreign and domestic families with medical corruption and with overt criminal enterprises associated with not just the body of Billy Grasso, tied to the other natures of crime acts. In other words, the people will say, "Oh, well, we directed Enzo Fienza to do that," and his cousin, whatever. So they were furthering other natures of crimes after that and since, with identity thefts tied to that. You know, little punk game locked the door when I was trapped inside the Club Blue. There's a Club Blue also recorded and confessed involved with Allegro's Cafe. A guy who's dead, his son. His father was a nice guy. Never had a conversation with the kid. Nonverbal. He's also reported tied to one of the interbranch police and his brother and other ones recorded intercity with the fake news, with the in or out of court police sex crime rules, with the principal sex offender further. Police pretending things recorded and stuff like that. Reason we have a heart is because the identity of existence is bigger than the identity of space. But while being that the identity of space smaller than any finite in it, as every active body bounded onto every active body, what is positive or negative onto itself, Allah. This is science. Science of pantheism about the identity of existence. And again, of space non-distinctly and distinctly. That's what causes Lethe of Hades, or evolution here. The nature of relationships. This value progression won't slow down, making the nature of and the volume of positive that is also positive onto itself. See, now we're a value nature system through a campus Marcius, criminally re-engineered from its original nature and method of science, with positive as ground. They put ground as negative to obfuscate this. To keep they forced zoning laws, criminally foreign influence is still glorified even because everyone's a victim predator of criminally foreign influence sciences. Areas maintained, juxtaposed still on each position of fact treatment nature. Could be a king. You don't have free speech. States and areas are in collusion. And everyone came through this campus with nations being tortured distinctly, specifically to hide how non-distinctly. Because this is exploiting how their identity of space has a distinct and non-distinct relationship with itself. They need to cover up progressively inherently, actively, and progressively their roles, causing negative value nature progressions. And I was trained to because we left these losses. We left not correlation, not real science, fake science, but that pretended, and then that defended. And they knew that would make database illusion stack at racket rolls. They knew they were going to do that. They knew that we would be made as a pseudo sophistication. And then to discern our sophistication, we have to be looking at each other comparatively and never seeing our sophistication. In other words, and never seeing how even kings are odds measured. Modern nations came to this trap. Suit and ties nations, counters to it. The second you defend, see, this is a crime against each age of fact treatment that you're on off campus. These are not just opinions that failed science. It's what's true all ways and noting exceptions being worse than obfuscated. Because that's correlation nature simultaneously here active depressive beings. Rations. My doctor. Do better than that. Watch. That wave of yield. They all believe. Faith. But when it comes to believe your correlation nature, you look at people stacking. And then people say, "Oh, I can't even imagine afford. How are you gonna pay for that? You can't. You know, could imagine what to do with it because it came through the school not by accident. But if we admit it, then we're our nature's relationship to itself that attaches with the part that's before. We're the heart. We're in the inside. It's going to be forced away from here, or it's going to grow here. In other words, if we're admitting that, that's what the prayer was for. Not just to the other part of the prayer for the faith is to understand the message, which is it says right in the beginning. Understand this part right here. That's all you need to understand in the beginning of the Old Testament. And in the beginning of the Quran, it says it differently, but it's saying the same thing. It gives you don't have to be a Muslim to be appreciated by the first part of the by appreciated by the Quran. In other words, it's making it it's noting about when it's using the disbeliever or whatever in the translations. What it's trying to say is about criminal insidiousness nature. In other words, there were natures of agreements. Campus Marcy was already criminally foreign influence. Internation science revealed this together. And it was revealed to be taught that way. The opposite, obfuscating it, for example, the predicate of English is simultaneously positive relationship to itself, which is what we're trying to discern when we're using correlation nature. And a predicate act is simultaneously, inherently, actively, and progressively identity's negative relationship to itself with the law. See, the predicate is not by accident they share the name predicate because these are ancient. This is the ancient republic that was revealed with Latin, demonstrably too. That's why how they keep people who are innocent in jail all those years. They never let them just, like we got something wrong, or you know what I mean. You think they get out? No, you can't. You can't even report things because they'll put you in there before they put themselves in trouble. Because that's the nature of it. Because of the way they're juxtaposed with other nations' police, forced to share that and not tell about it. It's demonstrable. Use correlation. If that's not true, it's worse. So everything is in demonstration of this always. Before we have the heart, the organs, the systems, sequence nature. We have the semi-nature, complete nature relationship to itself. And then that complete nature is a semi-nature to the identity of space, distinctly, non-distinctly from, and at the same time to the identity of existence. So, if you look at it through a microscope, what bonds the nucleus, the cell body, and the cell wall, the multiple is an identity of nature that is only present wherever anything exists, but it's only present where positive and negative are positive together. Its identity coming a little bit more through this, or getting forced away from here, Lethe of Hades. And as it does that, Earth's value, as a little bit more and more of its inherent value, that semi-nature of the complete identity of existence gets forced away from here. Again, we're inside existence, the identity of existence, then the identity of the four directions as the identity of space. And those two identities bonded before then as the value of the finite, as active body of value. And bonded not the value of the bond alone, I mean not but the value of the bond, which is the value of being able to see if we are right or wrong, which prayer is really for when it comes down trying to get what's going to be positive to each individual, finite, grouped, sexes, which is more than that, because more than just grouped there. with identity. And see all things, vaccines. Plant life is a manifestation in relationship to how the identity of space is inside is lesser than the identity of existence. You see, vaccines, schools return, the drop the force, a speaker source, to try. No one listening, huh? 20 minutes. Okay, so I'm gonna go off because no one's listening. Thank you for your time. No one there.